We all had an early vision of what our lives would look like, and then life actually happened. From marriage to motherhood, career dreams, and everything in between, this is Life Actually with Mary Belle. Well, welcome back to Life Actually with Mary Belle. Today, this is a whole lifetime in the making here. I got the sweetest message from somebody, and I'm really sorry because I did not make a note of who said it. But I have an ongoing podcast topic Google Doc. So whenever I see anybody, whether you message me something, whether you've submitted a topic in, when I do like my Instagram polls or things like that, I have a whole document of future ideas for future podcasts. And I forget, it might have been one of the ones that I was posting when, I don't know, I have in my Instagram profile that I'm an author-fluencer. I'm an author and an influencer. And I do like posting things that I like, but I really got to be honest. I run out of time to be on Instagram and social media. I was actually just talking to Claudio about this off air. My life is sort of changing a little bit. I took a remote job, which I'm sure I'll talk about at some point in a different episode. But it's essentially part-time job on top of doing everything that I'm doing as a way to sort of meet new people, like redefine my skill sets. I've worked from home for 7 years. I've been in either the digital marketing space or the author space for those 7 years. And I basically had something land in my lap that I couldn't say no to. And I was also really excited about. So those two things combined are just fantastic. But in taking on a new role and a new job, I'm like, all right, I'm going to have to figure out where I'm finding the time to do this, because I have a daughter who's not in full-time school yet. I'm doing a lot of stuff for, my author career, which is either writing, marketing, event planning, book signings, a ton of different things. So my first thing was, yes, could I use this job as a way to help us out financially? Absolutely. But how the hell am I going to find time for it? And if you watch people who really have it together, and Dave Regina of No Snooze Podcast, he was in here recording with Sean Degnan before I started recording. There are two people that do a lot of things in one day, in the same 24 hours that we all have. And as I think they would say, and Claudio knows them well, they're very mindful, what's the word? Intentional. Thank you. Intentional with their time. And Dave's a machine. He's waking up and he's reading the Bible. That's the way he starts his day. And then he's going to the gym and he's getting his workout in. And he's got a regular full-time job. He does his podcasting. He does a sanctuary. He does a ton of stuff. And in order to get all of those things done, you have to be very intentional with your time. I also was talking to Claudio about Tony Peck, another one. Actually, I said it in the last episode, the amount of things that he does. So many people who are very successful, that get a lot of things done, whether they have kids, don't have kids, married or not married, they just choose to be very intentional with their time. For the longest time, I've always said to myself, I don't have time to work out. I don't have time to do this. No, I was lying to myself the same way you probably are as well. It was just not something that was a priority for me. So I did not want to go downstairs and spend 20 or 30 minutes on the Peloton, because then in my mind, I'm like, then I'm going to be sweaty. Then I'm going to have to wash my hair. So it's not really 20 to 30 minutes. It's going to be at least an hour. It's bullshit, really. So when the shit hits the fan, and when you realize, wow, I really do need to make some changes here because I need to make extra time that I didn't previously have, or I convinced myself I did not have, you really see where you're wasting time. And we also spoke about this briefly. The amount of time that we all scroll on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, if we allow ourselves to, is the biggest waste of all. So, I say this all the time, all of that to say, starting this new job, figuring out where I'm going to find the time actually stems from being more mindful and intentional with my time. So it's only been 3 days, but it's 3 days longer in a row than I have in probably the last 3 years. I've been on the Peloton every morning for just 20 minutes. It's not a lot, but it's 20 minutes and 200 calories burned 3 days in a row that I have not previously done in the last 2 or 3 years in a row, which is really sad to say out loud. But I'm going to focus on the positive, and that I'm just proud of myself for doing that. The last 3 weeks I've eaten better. I've gone low carb. And this is just me needing to really shake up my life, be more organized, be more intentional, and get the most out of my day. What I've also learned from waking up and doing that is that I'm sharper throughout the day. And everybody says it. And really, the people who are like anti-working out, you're all going to roll your eyes at me and be like, yeah, okay. Sleeping gives me more energy and more focus. But really, to be very honest, it doesn't. Although I will admit, when you wake up early and you work out in the morning, you get tired earlier. Like, I feel like at 7 or 8 o'clock, because I've been more intentional with my day and I've been like putting a lot of things in the day. I'm fucking exhausted at like 8 o'clock at night because I've been going since 5:30 or whatever it is. And I have fit more stuff. It isn't just sitting there scrolling to oblivion or sitting on the couch. Like, I'm trying to get some squats in. I'm trying to play with my daughter outside. So I'm tired at the end of the day, but it's like a good tired where I feel like I mentally exhausted myself in a good way. I physically exhausted myself in a good way. Whereas when I wasn't exercising and I was eating like shit, I was tired at the end of the day. But that fatigue came from just that vicious cycle of being a slug, basically. So the more that you didn't move and the more shitty foods that you eat just makes you feel shitty. And then you feel tired at the end of the day, but it's a different tired. It's a bad tired. Do you notice that? Yeah. When you're not doing good things to your body, you're tired, and it's a completely different feeling than when you're doing good things with your mind, your body, and you're being intentional with your time. You're getting a lot of stuff done in the day. And at the end of the day, like, I almost feel like I earned that feeling where, like, TMI, but like you take your bra off and you put your pajamas on and you go watch your TV shows on the couch, but you're like, fuck yeah, I earned this today. Whereas the previous times that I've done that, I don't know. I didn't really feel it. I did. I was going to do it anyway because I wanted to watch my TV shows with my husband. But like, it's a little bit different now. So this whole week, I started working from home for a completely different company, in addition to all of the book stuff, in addition to podcast recording, in addition to exercising. And I really have to tell you that I feel like I'm firing on like all of my cylinders, and I just feel like a very good version of myself. And this won't become like a TED Talk on how to, whatever. I've been doing it for 3 days, so I'm far from a fucking fitness influencer. Who is it? Mel Robbins, Goggin, I don't know, all these people, like 3 days. So catch me next month and let's see. Hopefully I've lost a little bit more weight and, all of that. But my goal, and the reason why I started talking about this, was that the message I got from somebody after I was doing, I think it was a try-on for Venus Fashion. This is months ago. I haven't had a chance. Oh, that was like quite a segue. I was saying that I haven't had a chance to do another try-on because it takes so long. It's like an hour of filming content to try on a bunch of outfits, to create a reel, to post a reel, to be a fashion influencer. It takes a lot of time, right? And you're not really getting paid for it. You're getting a percentage if people buy from your link. And meanwhile, you have to hope people use your link and they don't have a better discount on the website that they're going to use that link instead. It's like, it's a bit much. So I just run out of time to do it. But somebody had said, where does your confidence come from? Like, you make me want to be more confident. And I would assume they meant like being like a larger person. So I am a size 18 right now. I'm a size, and this is like my body makeup. I'm 5'8". I don't know if we want to go into weight. I really don't care. You're looking at me. So whatever. This will probably make certain people feel better. At my heaviest, I was 256 pounds. That is a lot of weight. I'm a dense gal, and I was joking with Claudio because we were talking about eating well and fitness, and like, I am a muscular person underneath a layer of fat that I've accumulated over the years of just not treating my body the way that it should be treated. And then like when I say that out loud, like 256 pounds, like, what does The Rock weigh? And that man is like, what, 6'4"? He's a giant. He doesn't weigh much more than that. Right. How the fuck is that possible? Right? Isn't that wild? He's The Rock. And what am I, a boulder? Like, what the fuck? So anyway, so like I've never paid attention I mean, that's a lie. I've paid attention to what the scale says because you'd be dead if you weren't. But I never let it dictate how I felt about myself. And it's very interesting because I'm Italian American. Food is my life, my family's life. I love good meals. You will never see me eating grilled chicken and broccoli and sweet potatoes. I would be the most miserable MF on the planet if I ever had to do that for weight loss, because it brings me no joy whatsoever. So what I have found for my particular body and what works well for me is when I'm doing low carb, even though I have to break up with pizza and bread and pasta, all of the things I love is that once I kick the initial habit, which 3 days is the worst, and then once I make it to 2 weeks, I'm pretty golden. I don't even really want them anymore because I get so addicted to the feeling that my body feels when I'm not eating it, right? Like I have so much more energy. It cleans out. You're not bloated. I have so much less inflammation in my body. And all of this sort of started because probably since the fall, my back has gotten worse. I've always kind of had a bad lower back, which we say we have a bad lower back. It's not my lower back that's bad. It's my core strength that does not exist, which then forces my lower back to do all the heavy lifting of, again, I'm large. I have a large chest. I have a joke in my big ass head. Like I'm asking my lower back to keep up a lot of weight because my core is not doing what it's supposed to because I haven't exercised in the way that I should for a large majority of my life. So when my back really started bothering me, I go to the chiropractor frequently, but it got so bad where I needed to start physical therapy. Physical therapy, the second one in one horrible place, landed me in the ER right after Christmas. And I remember having such horrible muscle spasms in my back. I could not lift I was on my knees in front of the bed. Jay was trying to lift me up. Jay's a muscular guy. He's my height, a muscular guy, very strong. But like he weighs less than I do. So in my mind, I'm like, you're not going to be able to get me up off this floor if you had, like we'd have to call an ambulance if I couldn't move. Like that was mind boggling to me. And I remember getting so mad at myself in the moment that you let yourself gain this much weight, get this out of shape, let your back get to this stage that it's in, that you're 40, and I joke like, okay, I never really say I'm old now. I don't feel like I'm old, but like you're 40, but you're projecting like you're 87 because I can't even move my back. I could not move my leg. We emergency called my parents, waited 2 hours for them to get to the house so that they could stay with Marina, who was sleeping. We went to the ER. By then I had popped my Aleve or whatever my chiropractor told me to do. And it was 2 hours of laying. So the spasms had slowed down for me to be able to get in the car. We did not have to call an ambulance, which is, to make this long story short, it was the worst shape I've ever been in, and my back was not working. I eventually found a physical therapy place that was much better, that did not push me more than I should have been pushed in day 2, and also used heat prior to my exercising. So shout out to Harrison Physical Therapy in Wappingers Falls, New York. Billy, they were fantastic. Billy was my physical therapist, but I was there for 6 or 7 weeks, completely changed my outlook on the exercises I had to do, and even just conversations with him. It was just reminding me of all the stuff that I knew I had to do. I had to start eating better, reduce inflammation, start moving, get on the Peloton. He's like, even if you did it 3 times a week, you're going from doing nothing at all to doing the Peloton 3 times a week. That's an hour more of exercise per week that you're not used to, and then just build on it later. So I was poised to know what I had to do to make myself feel better. But I just was so mad at myself that I had let myself get that far before really taking it seriously, that I need to eat better. Not like I'm, a 14-year-old. I need to move my body more. And you could sit here and you could say like, oh yeah, but I still have like 50, 60 pounds to lose. Or I could sit here and say, hey, I already lost 5 of them. I feel great. I know what I'm doing. I could still eat food that I like. I'm not like, I don't have to run 2 miles a day and be miserable doing it. Like I'm doing what's working for me. And to be honest, last year I went in for a physical, and the first thing that the doctor said was like, oh, do you want to go on the whatever, Ozempic or Wegovy, whatever it was? And I'm like, not for nothing. And listen, I never judge anybody for what they do for their body. If you're on it and you need it, great. For me personally, for me, it was like, I know exactly what I have to do to lose weight. I'm just not doing it. And so for that question, where does your confidence come from? A lot of it is, hey, I know what I'm capable of, and I know what I need to be doing to be the best version of Mary. And confidence comes from being as honest with yourself as possible. I'm not doing it. So like, what do I expect to happen if I'm not being consistent with eating well? And all right, no. Claudio just reminded me that I need to look directly at the camera. And I feel like I'm Scuttle when I do that. I really got to be honest with you. So anyway, so where does your confidence come from? And a lot of my confidence, I know, comes from I want to enjoy my life. And then it's also just a method of survival. So I grew up and I've always been larger in stature. All of my friends, much smaller than me, a lot of them petite, or they're just shorter than me. I've always been large build. And I have hilarious quotes from very impactful moments in my life, 3 in particular, that basically describe exactly how I grew up in the body that I grew up, where it was like a backhanded compliment at the time. Okay. But these 3 are absolute doozies. So, and I think I might have said one of these on air before, but we're just going to remind you of it. So one of my sister's best friend's grandmother, I believe I was in college. She told me, she was like holding my cheek. She goes, "You got beautiful eyes. You look like Elizabeth Taylor. You're just a little bit too big." That's exactly how she said, "You look like Elizabeth Taylor. You're just a little bit too big." And I was like, oh, okay. Thank you. My great uncle, Uncle Anthony, shout out to him. He's no longer here, but also it was probably college or right after college, somewhere between 20 and 25. He hugged me goodbye. We were at a funeral. Hugged me goodbye at a funeral. And he puts his hands on my shoulders and he shakes his head and he goes, "You are just built like a brick shithouse." And I actually went home and I looked that up on the computer because I'm like, I'm sorry, was that a compliment? Which I looked it up again to remind me. The actual definition of that means that you're indestructible and strong. So like, I'll take that as a compliment because I am. It's exactly what I was just saying. Underneath this cozy layer of pasta and pizza and love that has resided here for most of my life, I am a very muscular person. So if I'm 200 and now I'm like 249, but 256, and I'm like, where the fuck does this weight come from? I have muscular legs. I have a big hiney. I got big boobs. Like, it's just my body. And I'm just a dense muscular person. So the good thing of that is that as soon as I start working out, I just feel like my muscles start firing and they start like getting into shape pretty quickly. So that's a good thing that I have on my side is when you have that like muscular underneath layer, you can snap it back relatively, not quickly, but it's there. And that was actually another reason why I did not want to go on those weight loss medications. I wasn't even a candidate because I believe if you have thyroid issues in your family, you're not a candidate because there are side effects that could affect the thyroid. And my grandmother had thyroid issues. So I was like not a candidate because of that, but I wouldn't have taken it anyway. But a lot of people, a big side effect is that you lose all your muscle definition. And I would never want to lose my muscle definition. Like I want my legs, I want my coolie, I want all of it. I just want a little bit of less love, a little less puffiness. Okay. So we're working on that ourselves. I'm a take the bull by the horns kind of gal. I'd rather do it myself than to have to use a medicine if I didn't have to. And again, some people need it for medical reasons, for a variety of them. You do you. Just for me, it was not something I wanted to do. And finally, this one is another shout out to my mother. And let it be known, my mother is the most supportive person on planet Earth. She has the nicest things to say about me. She says all the time, "Man, I just wish that I was as confident as you," and da-da-da-da. She's the best. Years ago, this might have been college or high school. It was me, my mom, and my sister driving in a car. And we were I forget exactly what we were talking about. We were either talking about the sizes of dresses or me not fitting into something or somebody saying something. I don't remember. She says to me, "Well, you're not fat." And my sister almost chokes on her whatever she was drinking in the back seat. And I'm driving the car and I go, am I just like regular fat, Ma? She goes, oh my God, I didn't mean it like that. But I'm like, how many ways can you mean? Well, you're not fat. It's like telling somebody you're not that ugly. You're just you're just a little bit ugly. So that is like a family heirloom of a phrase. You're not fat. So like if any of us are struggling at that moment with like our bods or whatever, like my brother will chime in and go like, hey, Mary, you're not fat. I'm like, okay, great. Thank you. But anyways, like I've heard those things throughout my life, which again, those are all right, backhanded compliments. Like they have good in them, but they also highlight that I'm just a larger person, which obviously I know, and anybody watching knows I'm not a petite gal. But I've always just focused on the good, and that might just be a personality trait. I am a generally focus on the good kind of gal. Would you get that vibe?
100%.
Thank you. Now he just wants to make up for making me look at this camera.
First of all, I just did the audience a favor.
What?
You blessed them with your beautiful
Am
eyes.
I doing it now?
Yeah, you're looking. Well, now you're looking
well,
at
now I'm
camera.
looking at you. I'm either
go.
looking at you. Here I am. All right, good. But I've been doing better since you yelled at me.
I don't think I would consider it yelling.
I know. That's actually another.
I was being supportive.
That was another family thing that baby of the family, everybody was always yelling at me. Even though they weren't yelling at me, but the moment you raise your voice a little bit, stop yelling at me. My brother used to make fun of me about that all the time. So anyways, as I've aged, I actually have joked about this before, and this might be a good place too. Everybody always asks, when did you know that you wanted to write a book? And fun fact for anybody who is listening, I always wanted to write a book, and I originally was going to write one called Big Boned, and it was going to be about being like a plus size larger gal and how to still live a happy life regardless of like the size and shape of your body. And this was before being like mid-size and plus size was like as widely accepted, no pun intended, as it is today. And then I just realized I did not want to get that personal with like my life, my sizes, my clothes, I don't know, it's hardships, whatever. I mean, there's people who have actual like medical issues that they have to deal with in their life. Being a larger person is not one of them. But I realized I didn't want to get like that personal and write a whole book on it. So when I thought about what I wanted to write about it, I wanted to do romance to start. But what I had written in, I think it might have been like one chapter I wrote in that book, or it might be a blog entry that I did previously. I've actually joked that I have the opposite of body dysmorphia. And body dysmorphia is, and I don't mean to make a joke of this, but a mental health condition where a person spends a lot of time worrying about flaws in their appearance that don't actually exist, but in their mind, they convince themselves that it exists. And the joke is that I actually have the opposite of that. No matter how much weight I gain or when I gain it, I could still look in the mirror and figure out which clothes are going to make me feel like I look great. And I'm going to be like, fuck yeah, you do look great. Because I'm focusing on the positive. So like, you won't get me. I'd say I could count 3 times in my life that I've like cried over being not the right size or not fitting into something. I don't do that really ever. So I will find the clothes that fit me well or that I feel really good in. And then I just sort of say to myself, like, all right, you may not be in the best shape, or you'd benefit from a whole lot of different things. But here's the body that you've got right now. So just celebrate it. Like that's how I make it through those things. So I kind of joke, like I have the opposite of that. It didn't matter how much weight I gained. I just always was like, well, shit, yeah, you could still make something out of this. Right. And that's generally my personality. If I don't like something, I'm either going to fix it or figure out a way to change it. So usually I've sort of gained and lost the same 30 to 50 pounds in my life since I've been in college. I think in college I was like 180, but I wasn't quite as shapely back then as I was here. Like, I don't know what that's about, but I don't know. Actually, maybe I remember running in college. Like I wasn't doing squats and I wasn't really doing weightlifting. I was doing like ellipticals back then. I was also drinking like a fiend, like most of us do in college, and eating shitty food. So like, you're not giving your body the best. Somewhere in my mid to late 20s, I started learning how to work out with squats and weights and weight resistance. And I think I like found the best things that just made my body just look better. Still had my fluffiness on me because I love my food. And that's the thing. Like if I did this for 10 years and I was like grilled chicken, sweet potatoes, broccoli, could I be a fitness person? Sure. But I would not feel joyful from that. I know that you agree with me on this. We like our food.
100%.
100%.
100%. Although I will say this.
Yeah.
So I love food and I love my food. And like when you speak about the foods and the eating, like I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
There's one difference I think between us. I actually get into that robotic place of eating the same food every single day when I'm in that mind frame. So like right now I've been on this for
like being healthier.
Right.
Yeah.
So I eat, and my wife does not like this because my wife, she likes variety and granted, we both understand we have to eat better. So we're both on the same track when it comes to that thought process. But then I go to the extreme. I don't know why, but I just do. I eat turkey every single day. Like ground turkey with spinach. And that is it. And I've been doing that now probably for the last like 4 or 5 months straight every single day. She doesn't like that. So she'll like make chicken here and there. She'll do like some ground beef. She'll do some other things. And she'll ask me, do you want something different? And most often I'm like, no.
Is that because if you get off course, you almost remind yourself how much you love different food and then like you can't stay?
Well, it's twofold. One, I know I like it.
Yeah.
The way she makes it for me. I'm not going to lie. She makes it for me. She's amazing. I love my wife.
I love Catherine too.
Oh, she's awesome. I like how she makes it for me. So it's comfortable. It's doable. And I've gotten to a place where I enjoy it. So I don't want to, nothing else calls for me. The only thing that calls for me is something not good.
Yeah.
So by doing that, I get very regimented into not even thinking about the other bad stuff. Because in reality, do I really want to vary it up? No, I don't really care because I don't want to say I'm not going to enjoy it, but I'm not. What I want to enjoy is a pizza. What I want to enjoy is like a delicious, plate of pasta.
Yeah.
Like those are the things I'm going to enjoy. And if I'm not going to eat that, I don't really care to go find a healthier veggie or a different option of I don't know. I'm kind of like that. And there are things that I like more than others.
Yeah.
So now that it's getting to be nicer outside.
Oh, grilling.
Yeah. So I can grill all day. So I will devour chickens in the summer because I like them that way. I don't like them in the oven that much. I don't really like. And the thing is, we prep too. So I like chicken when it's it's done right there on the day.
Yeah, microwaving chicken or
heat. Yeah, that's not my. So I get and I get skeeved out. So I'm like, no, I'm good with my turkey, and I'll eat my turkey I'm going on 5 months, eating the same thing and I don't get bored. And that's the other thing that she doesn't understand. She's like, this is crazy. How do you not get bored?
Yeah, I'm Team Catherine on this. I would absolutely be a miserable person if I was eating that.
Yeah, no, and I'm not. I'm actually content because one, I feel better. I feel 10 times better because my body is not like you were saying. It's not as inflamed. I'm not eating bad things, so I can tell that my body, my gut health is healthy.
Yeah,
there's nothing weird going on. And anytime I'll stray from that, something gets messed up, and then I don't like it.
Yeah, I understand that, and I do love how I feel. But and everybody's body is different. But that's how I feel when I'm eating. Like I'll do the same thing, but I need different flavors and I need it to be just more enjoyable. So like I might have like a zucchini crust pizza, which anybody listening to this, they're like, I'm not fucking eating that. But for me, at least I got like the pizza flavors. So like if it's Pizza Friday, like that's like a whole vibe for us in our Italian houses. Pizza
I'm
Fridays.
not gonna lie because that sounds delicious.
Zucchini?
It's the zucchini pizza.
Yeah.
So I think. I can't even, I guess, put into words the why. I think I feel bad because I don't want to have Catherine making all these wild, crazy menus just to kind of appease my taste buds. So in that sense, I'm very content just eating what I'm liking and I don't dislike it. And then I guess the other part is I'm just lazy because I wouldn't do that for myself because it's, bringing flavor into the equation for me means that I'm taking the path that's eventually going to lead to bad food.
Well,
so I think that's how I see it. And that's why I choose
basically what I was saying before. If you treat yourself to that, is it just like a slippery slope where then you're going to want to go eat all
I think
the
for me
things?
it is, and that's why I choose not to. and I'd rather eat cardboard all day, knowing that I'm going to be healthier. It's going to be good for me. It's kind of like,
Yeah, but you can't do that the rest of your life. So then that's the
no,
problem.
but I'm not saying I don't cheat. I mean, I do.
Okay.
I do cheat, and I don't cheat all the time. That's the part that I'm trying to get better at, right? Like, and not cheat days. Like maybe like a cheat
meal and then getting back on
like
track.
a Friday night. Like go out to dinner with my wife, or like I usually like when I go eat with my parents, I don't force them onto like what I'm doing, so I'll eat whatever they have.
Yeah.
And generally they cook pretty healthily, but there's always starches or a carb or something, so I'll eat that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like my way of like still being attached to like the things that I do like, but every other time that I can, cardboard, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. I find that too. Like once I hit the weight that I want to be right now, which, the last time that I did low carb keto, I lost close to 40, 45 pounds, and I was 195, which for me is a thin Mary at 195. And it was right after or right before Jay and I went through a whole lot of relationship stuff. So once we went through marriage therapy and we fixed a whole lot of stuff, it's like we were dating again. And when you're dating, love is fattening. So like you love going out. We were vacationing. We were going to restaurants all the time. I like gained it back because I lost all the weight, but then I wasn't very mindful of like, all right, how do we eat normally now, but not to gain weight?
That's like the after honeymoon phase of dating, right? Because I don't know how you can think of this far back when you were in the dating scene. I would not eat for the first probably like bunch of dates.
Well, you were not dating Jason Bellatieri, Claudio. Okay, that man will feed you until you burst. In the best way possible.
I'm not gonna lie. Then I probably would just dive right in.
You would love Jay. We got to get you and Jay together because he is the best. He is not happy unless he is feeding people. And he also he's the guy you go to a restaurant with. He's like, and if I say out loud, like, oh, I really like that pasta, but then, oh, this one looks good. He's like, well, let's just get both. I'm like, no, you can't. I can't get both. I can't. He's like, yeah, you can.
So short and funny story. The key to my heart has always been food. I don't think I even recognize that. And one of my really old, awesome friends from way back in the day, he always joked about it because when he met me, I used to work in a high school and I had a little office and he did as well. And he kind of came by with some cookies. And he kind of that was kind of his segue to kind of get in, sit down. Hey, I brought you some cookies. You want some? I'm a cookie fiend for anyone that knows. And I'm like, oh, and that was the beginning of a beautiful relationship. So here we go, 20 years later.
Food is the love language
here. Acknowledge this, but I think to my soul is food. And if you remember the very first time that you and I met, you immediately brought the key to my heart without even knowing and said, I'm going to grab this mother. And he belongs to me now.
Crumb cake. Actually, it was very funny because Dave was supposed to, we were going to record with Dave and he's going to be a future guest, but that was supposed to happen. And then our schedules all got mixed up between the three of us. And we were joking on a group text, me, Claudio, and Dave, about I'm not going to bring any crumb cake because I've been eating better. Dave is always eating better. Like he's just on it usually all the time. He went home and gave Callie the crumb cake the first time.
Yeah, not me. I ate it all.
And then Claudio loved the crumb cake, but he's been watching what he's eating too. So in our group message, I said, I'm not going to bring the crumb cake because we're all on it. And Claudio goes, can I not have a cheat day? And I was like, listen, I can't because as soon as I have it, I fall off track.
Well, if you want to share what Dave said, because I got real quiet after that.
I didn't want to throw you under the bus, but Dave
Go ahead.
He actually texted, he goes, my brother, your whole life has been a cheat day. And I was looking at my phone like this. I was like, oh my God, shots fired by Dave Regina. But it's so funny because all of us joke like that. But that is a love language. And it's my love language too, to have brought you guys the crumb cake because that's like a little part of me, and that's something that I enjoy making. But anyways, we're getting super off topic, but in a good way, that we love food. And that's what I was saying. Like, this is my background, my family background. It's how I grew up. And it's funny that the people closest to me, my mom, my uncle, my great uncle, everybody sort of has something to say. And everybody's been very complimentary my whole life. I have gotten a lot of oh, you're so beautiful. Your eyes, you're this, you're that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All of that is very nice to hear from people. But there's always that but, right? I've always my whole life has sort of been oh, you're great, but you're just a little too big, but you're the, okay. But I love myself. And this is my life. Like, you have to love yourself, and that's, if you caught the last episode of important things to teach our children, my daughter is, oh, I think this person is going to love this dress. That's fantastic. If that person loves your dress that you have on, do you love your dress? That is the most important. It is the most important for you to love yourself the most. And I haven't always been this way, especially as it related to like men. Like, I never really had boyfriends when I was younger. It was all my, thinner, skinny, beautiful blonde friends that always had the boyfriends and whatever. I was not the one chosen by men when I was younger. And then you lack a bit of confidence back then because you are comparing yourself. So a lot of the stuff that I'm able to sit here and give as advice, like, you don't need other people's approval of you. Your opinion of you is the most important. I learned that over the course of 40 years, and especially in my teens and early 20s, when you're in high school and you're in college, and like, you hope that boys are going to pay attention to you, or they're going to want to ask you to be their prom dates. For reference, I asked both of my prom dates, and both prom dates were younger than me. So it was like, of course they're going to say yes, because they get to go to, the junior prom or the senior prom when they were younger than me. I made do with what I had and who I was, and I've just learned from then. And I've struggled with this in my 20s and my 30s. And there really isn't like, this special pill that you take when you turn 40, but something happens where I really think it's a time thing. You realize how much time that you have left that's good health time. I'm never going to be this young again than what I am today. I'm not going to look this way, like, you're just going to get older and things are going to go, I don't mean to be negative, but it's just the honest truth. Like, your body's not going to be the same. Your wrinkles are going to come. I mean, and yes, they make Botox and all that shit, but the point is to celebrate who you are today and know that, like, you are in control and you have the power to feed your body what it needs to be fed in order to operate at your highest capacity, to feel the best. And I had remarked to Claudio too, like, I put these pants on a month ago and they didn't fit. Right now I'm sitting here and like, I can't wait to lose another 10, 15, 20 pounds so I feel better. So my strapless bra fits better. Like, I'm on my way though, and I made those initial changes to just feel better about myself in the last few weeks, so that for the rest of the year, like, that's my goal. Feel better by the end of the year. Like, you didn't start 40 off on the greatest foot because you got back problems and you're the heaviest that you've been in your entire life. Like, but I have the power to change it. So that's another. Where does your confidence come from? It comes from me looking at myself. How can I be the best version of myself? And is it nice if other people think, I look a certain way, or that I am a certain way, or that, oh, you're funny, or you're this? Of course it is. It's the compliments and the nice things that people have said to me over the course of my life are astounding. But what's always been the most important is what I feel about myself. Because if you feel real shitty on the inside, doesn't matter what anybody else is going to say on the outside. If you feel really great on the inside, it also isn't going to matter what somebody says on the outside. That works both positively and negatively. And that's just super important. And it's another reason why I love Dave and like surrounding myself with like people like you being on a healthier path, and like the Tony Pecks and the Daves and so many of my other mom friends. Like, you just want to be around people who want to be the best versions of themselves. So all of that is related, but and I said already that it hasn't always been this way for me. It's a learning curve from when I was in my teens and when I was in college, and, looking for validation from, we all have that person that we were in love with. Our life was going to be ruined if we weren't going to be with them. Right. And you look back now and you're like, I could have ended up with that. Holy shit. Like, thank God I didn't. But all of that, like, you learn about yourself in the process of those things. In that moment in life, I thought that was the best person for me. And look at the person that I've become. And now I know I'm with the best person for me. And that best person for me is somebody who never made me feel any sort of way about my larger stature or whatever. That man loves me if I'm 256 pounds, 195 pounds, a size 12. I've never been a size 12, but you know what I mean? Like, and he wants to feed me and whatever. And I've actually had conversations with Jay. I'm like, babe, I love you to death. If you try to feed me something else, I'm going to have to throw you off the deck. Like, I need your help right now to at least get not visually like I need to look a certain sort of way. Like, it's actually my health. Like, my back doesn't work. I couldn't stand. Like, those are important things that I need your help just to get to like a more even playing field so I feel the best version of myself. So that's another way, like how are you confident? Surround yourself with people who help keep you on that path too and remind you of those things, right? And not people who, could possibly make you feel shitty if you let them. But that doesn't really go along. Like I don't really super duper pay attention to what other people say. It's very nice to get nice compliments, but if you don't feel it yourself, it really doesn't make a difference, right? And you know what? This is good too. A lot of this is very important to me because these lessons that I learned, they weren't really taught to me. I've sort of learned them on my own by deducing what I felt in life and what I wanted to feel like. So like I said before, if I did not like something about myself, my job, my careers, my relationships, I figured out a way to change it or fix it. And I've done that in a lot of aspects of my life. So how did I start writing a book? Like I've always had it on my bucket list, but I had other jobs and a lot of them I liked in the moment, or I got a lot of important things from them, but maybe they weren't necessarily like, the thing I was going to stay with forever. So I took the good parts of those and I said, all right, it's time for a change. I made a change and I went into like usually a completely different industry. But I made those changes in order to keep progressing my life forward. And I think there is a certain confidence attached to that. I'm not happy here. I'm not either getting paid what I deserve. There's no room for growth. I'm not utilizing the brain cells that I have. I'm not pushing myself to my utmost potential. So this is not the place for me. And I need to go find a different place. And I've done that with careers. I've done that with a lot of different relationships. Knowing and understanding, like even when our marriage needed a lot of help, thankfully I was married to somebody who was confident in his own right and he knew what he wanted and what he deserved. And both of us at the end, after a lot of therapy, could look at our entire marriage and be like, yeah, that wasn't what either one of us thought it was going to be. That like 7 to 10 year, sort of stint there where things can go sour really quickly, even though it's not quickly. It's like, from the moment that you get together and all those things start to happen in marriage that you have to work through. Thankfully, I was with somebody who wanted to put in that hard work with me. And we both decided that we needed to change and we changed it and we did it together. So that's another version of surrounding yourself with like-minded people that will push you to be a better version of yourself. It also helps you find your own confidence. Like, who do I want to be as a wife? Who did Jay want to be as a husband? And who did we want to be? And what kind of couple did we want to be together? And all of that is the same as, hey, how do you find confidence in your larger body? How do you find confidence in changing your career? How do I find confidence thinking that anybody's going to give a shit what I'm saying behind this mic to start a podcast? And there are plenty of people, and I'm not talking shit, but I'm sure there's plenty of people that are like, why is she starting a podcast? Like, is anybody really going to care that much what Mary has to say? I partially agree with you, but like, I don't choose to focus on that. I choose to focus on the amount of people that have been in my life. Like, you need a talk show. You need to just keep putting more videos out because I love listening to you. That's what I'm channeling right now. So that is another form of confidence. You could focus on the negative things that, not that anybody's ever said to my face, but potentially people have said, versus the positive things that people said, and then just roll with it. Yes, sir. Claudio, did you just raise your hand? Oh, shit. I thought I saw that he raised his hand because we keep saying to each other, if I want him to step in, to just look at him. But like, I start talking real fast and you'd have to stop like the train to get me to stop talking. But he does a pretty good job. But anyways, do you have anything to add to our conversation that you haven't already? All right. This was another good, it really is a segue into what will be the next kids book that I had mentioned previously about teaching our daughter to love yourself the most. And I keep telling her too, if anybody ever has not nice things to say to them, do you want me to tell you what I told my daughter to say? Whether physical or whether just rude people, I said, here's a few things you can say to them. You could either say, what is your problem? Or what is your point? And I feel like those are two very good responses to any kid who would have anything not nice to say. And this is like, oh, I don't like your sneakers. Oh, why do you have that as a snack? What is this? What is that? Like, what is your, Focus on yourself. Mind your own business, actually. I'm going to teach her that one. MYOB, mind your own business.
Do you know what my parents used to say to me?
What?
They used to say whenever I'd say something kind of out of pocket,
Yeah.
they would say, you'd look prettier if you were quiet.
Whoa, that's a toughie. Although that sounds very old school, like we were not allowed to say anything.
Right. Now, I don't know if that was for me to tell somebody else when they were being mean to me, or that was just them telling me because I was being probably mean in the moment. You look prettier if you're quiet.
Oh, that's... I mean, that would piss me off, but if I was doing something not nice to you, I would deserve it. So that's a good one. So yeah, thank you to anybody who says that, and thank you. I mean, so many of you send me such nice messages all the time, whether it's book related, career related, family related. Like I love when you share your family and your daughter, and you're such a good mom, and you're this and you're that. And thank you very much to everybody. Where does confidence come from? I surround myself with good people, and I just want to be happy. And whether that's career, body, marriage, if I don't feel truly genuinely happy and content, I just keep making changes until I do. And in 40 years, I think that is one of that's the main thing that I've learned, which, God, I love when things segue. Do you know what our next 2 episodes are going to be?
What's that?
Broken into half, 40 things I learned in 40 years.
Whoa.
So we got 40 things. I'm going to do part 1, 20, part 2, the other 20.
Deep.
Going to be a little deep, but I'm not going to get too deep into it or else we'll be here for 72 hours. So that was good. Body confidence. Stay tuned for next week's episode, 40 things I've learned in 40 years. Thank you guys for being here. Like, share, subscribe, do all the things. And again, if you're not following Kai Visions, Claudio on Instagram, CAYI Visions on Instagram. And that's it. See you later. Thanks. Thanks so much for tuning in. Like, subscribe, share, follow the full journey on social media at the handle mary.belle.books. And if you have need for audio-visual content creation and recording services, Kai Visions is located in Stamford, Connecticut, and can also be found on Instagram at CAYI Visions.